Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. It's the latest of our video calls. We've been chatting to everybody while we're all stuck at home at the minute, and I'm delighted to say from while she sleeps, we've got Loz and Matt on the line. How are you guys?
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Hi.
Good to see you both. Good to see you both. We were just chatting just before. Obviously, Loz, we chatted to you a bit last year for one of these as well, but we will reiterate what we always say at the start of them. I hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping well. Same to all your loved ones, the rest of the band, all that good stuff. Matt, I guess, I'll say to you, because it's been a little minute since we've had a chance to chat. How you doing, man? How's these last few months at home been for you?
Oh, it's been good. It's been a learning curve of trying to work out how to operate as a band from all these different places when we're super used to being sort of in the warehouse together. But we've kind of been doing a bit of both. And we're just getting to that point now where we're all going back in and working together, which is nice. But yeah, everything's good, man. It's been a crazy ride these last couple of months. Like, just everything before a record comes out is so intense in terms of like making everything that we need, videos, all the content, everything we're trying to do with Sleep Society. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's been amazing, but it's been a lot of work and a lot of pressure and stress, but all for a really good cause. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Loz, we were saying this last time when we did one of these that you guys are just so well set up for this, aren't you? I mean, you've got that HQ there that we got a little look around. What an absolute gift to be able to have a place like that. I imagine it's mean that despite the challenges of the last year, it doesn't really feel like you guys have stopped in a way, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're very lucky to have the space that we've had, like we reiterated last time. And I think that, for any band that sort of released music pre-pandemic, it must be really tough to put out a record and not be able to tour it. We've been quite lucky up until now that we missed Vegas and California, which we're really pissed off about, but but it's one of those things, it's like realistically, we can't be too bummed out about the situation because it's kind of fallen into place for us. We were scheduled to be off and writing, although we have lost a lot of festivals, which are always great to get out to Europe and play festivals. But, we're very lucky to be able to focus our energy in a positive way and work, like you say, in an environment that's sort of, big enough in a way that we can get in there, still record and not be on top of each other and still work in a safe environment. Like Matt said, we've kind of worked in and out of this situation. When the restrictions have lifted a bit, we've been more in there and sort of working together. And when we haven't been able to, we've kind of just tried to work remotely. But like I say, we're very lucky. Like, for any band that sort of released a record and then not been able to tour it must feel like a lot of work and no play, really.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where at the beginning of it, we were like, oh my God, what's happening? And then we always have this thing where we're actually a really productive band off tour. On tour, it's like, it's great, but we're just doing shows and that's it. But like we sort of come into our element when we're off tour because it sort of opens the doors to all the projects that we can do, like at the warehouse and just writing in general. And we'd been touring quite a lot. So it felt like it came at quite a good time where we sort of said, okay, if this is what's happening, then let's shuffle our plans for it to work in our favor and let's just use this time. Let's not sit and use the time waiting for it to go back to normal and us to sort of crack on as a band. It's more like, right, well, this is happening. Let's use it to our advantage and really focus and make a record without any interruption of touring and shows and those kind of things. And that's been like a bit of a blessing in disguise, really, because we've been able to sort of channel our energy really directly into not only the record, but Sleep Society and everything we've done there. So it's like, now I can't imagine it happening a different way.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel like you've just got, when these situations are sort of put onto you, you've got to, like we've learned now, because you can plan as much as you want, but something can always just slap in the middle of it and just make you go, holy shit, like this is not what we planned, what do we do? And we're quite a good problem solving band in that sense. We've been in those situations and I think we've used it to our advantage, and yeah, it's good. It's been a good year.
Yeah, it definitely has. Well, yeah, relatively for you guys, it has. Yeah, you've got to pick out the high points. That's all right. But like, I'm glad you mentioned Sleep Society there because I haven't really spoken to you guys since that kind of launched and really took up a gear there. How have you found it, man? From an outsider perspective, it seems like you guys are getting real benefits out of it. It seems like the fans have responded really, really well to it. Were there any challenges in terms of getting it up and running? Any teething problems, anything like that?
A lot of learning, just in terms of like it's like creating a new avenue of social media in a sense that's like private, basically. So it's not like you just make what you normally make for the rest of your like media outlets and then just post it on there as well. It's like, no, we need to create a whole new set of content and really interesting things to go in it, but also whilst not like alienating any of our fans that don't join and don't want to be part. Like we knew when we started it, it's for the fans who really want to be that close and personal with us. And we knew that we couldn't like alienate anyone who doesn't want to join. That's not like, you're not a Sleeps fan if you're not in it. I mean, it's just for those people who want to like directly sort of fund the cause. And that's been like a journey for us, just learning. Like we've been creating content just like so much in the last year that and dealing with like the admin side of it all, and just like if people are in there and they message you, like you can't like miss anything because people are paying to be part of this thing. So it's like it's like creating another like avenue for the band that requires like loads of attention and loads of care, whilst trying to continue everything that being a band contains in the rest of them. So like the workload's been huge, but again, the rewards of working that hard are really good as well. And like the band's in a really like good position now. We're not sort of looking at the next couple of months and going, holy shit, do I need to start delivering pizzas? It's like, we're in a position where we can channel all our energy back into Sleeps. And that's something that I feel like super lucky to be in that position in the climate that is the music industry at the moment. So I'm really proud of what we've done. And I'm quite open about saying to other people that like, hopefully we've proved that this avenue, if you put the amount of work into it, this avenue can like work for a band, especially in such a difficult time. So it's something that I definitely recommend to other people.
Yeah, it's not even just the format of it itself, but what I think makes it work, particularly for you guys, is when you are building, it sounds cliche, but you're building a community around it as well. And like, even the conversation around the latest single, obviously a lot of mental health themes in there. I just like the fact that you guys were very, very open with the conversation on social media that was public anyway. I imagine things like that can then continue within the Sleep Society itself, right? It's about bringing that bigger community feel to it.
Absolutely. We've been doing what we sort of did publicly over the last like 2 weeks. We've been doing that for the last month or two in the society. And like, we have like a monthly Zoom call with different tiers of members. And we've got to know everyone in there, which is really cool. And also they've got to know each other. And there's this like, they've almost formed this incredible like support network for each other. And like you said, we set out wanting to build this like community and build this house for our fan base that they feel really like comfortable in. And I think that's exactly what we've made. And like, so it's really nice to sort of sit back and look at it now compared to the conversation we had in sort of September last year and go like, those goals are on their way to being achieved. They're not like done, but they're on their way. And yeah, it's a good feeling, really.
I think that's the thing. Like you picked up on it, on like a sense of community with the whole Sleep Society, and like I think for While She Sleeps, that's why or definitely for me, that's why I fell in love with this, or the whole scene, if you like. Anyway, like it was all about banging a corn hoodie on and getting slapped on back at the school bus for listening to it, and that in some way that gave you like a sense of like, I'm a part of something that's different to everybody else. And I feel like that whole sense of community has been what While She Sleeps has always been about. Like, we're still the guys stood at the back of the room watching the headline band, you know, we're still the guys diving out into the festival and checking out our favorite bands and just being around people, you know, like even just hanging out after the show and trying to meet as many people as possible. So the whole community vibe is what dragged me and the rest of Sleeps like into what we're into now. And the community side of things has always been hugely important for us. And yeah, the Sleep Society is that, you know, it's that kind of hub for people that care about While She Sleeps to get in there and chat about While She Sleeps, or like maybe find a drummer because they're trying to start up a new band, or just get loads of helpful insight into the right and wrong ways to do things. And just there's so much going on in there. But like, yeah, the sense of community there is amazing. And like, yeah, I'd urge any band to sort of build that. It's just basically like a, you know, it's a fan club, but it's also the fan club are like sustaining the band as well, which is so, it's such a great relationship to have.
And it's not like, what I like about it is like, yeah, on paper it is like a fan club, and that's something that is like isn't new by any means, but it's not orientated by like us being these like celebrity figures in it at all. It's more like, it's more to do with those guys communicating with each other and us being involved, and it doesn't feel like we're like the heads of it, so to speak. It feels more like we're actually part of that community, and it gives us a place to talk really directly to the fans, that a little bit more directly than you can do on social media, because it's like, how many people do you follow or you subscribe to, whatever, on like your normal socials? It doesn't mean you're like a humongous fan. You sort of have that choice to sort of go past it and check a little bit of something out. But how do you get more than that? Like from those bands, how do you get like further into that thing? And social media is community based, like it's an online community, but there's so much in one place that you kind of don't really get to focus on any of the specific things too heavily. So it gives us a place to be like, sort of just delve deeper into the elements of being in a band, or the skills that we've sort of learned with it, or like the things that we do as our like internal roles in the band, and sort of do as much sort of teaching and sharing of information as possible in there, that's been like my favorite part of it. Like the sort of doing bits of workshops with people and having those like large, we had this conversation with like 50 people on a Zoom call the other day. And it was before Nervous came out, and we just like got on it. We do it on like a Friday night, so it's a bit of like an evening gathering. And we just sort of said to people like, look, this is what the song's about, and this is what we're trying to encourage. Let's use this chat as like a really friendly, open, almost therapy session, not of like, we're going to tell you exactly how to cope with these things, but like get it off your chest, and then everyone in the group can talk to each other. And we were on there for like 3 hours, dude. And like people were opening up about things that they've never spoke about, and things that they were really like, things that were huge deals to them. And it was so eye-opening. Like I came off the call and was like, I can't believe that is where it's got to now. Like from us wanting, like a year ago being like, yeah, we think we want to make this thing, to watching it like help people right down to like a personal level, just by giving them that space to feel like comfortable, and all of that surrounding is like, we're all there because we like Sleeps, us ourselves included, but also because we all found that like sense of like security in this alternative culture. Like Loz said, it's like, that is exactly why I got into this. I like love that feeling of like putting this hoodie on and going to school, and if you see someone else in another band hoodie, you're a bit like, all right, bro, like we're in the same crew. And like it just feels like that. Yeah, it's wild.
It's nice as well. It's very much at the heart of the record, both in terms of the obvious things like titles and things like that, but I mean, they're on the record. You've got the Sleep Society as a actual guest. Tell me about how that worked, man. The track's called The Void. Like, how did you go about getting fans involved so they could actually be on the record itself?
so we had this idea that like we've done stuff before where it's like you can sort of invite people down to come and do like gang vocals and things like that, but like how do we do that remotely? And we had this idea and we're like, that sounds so cool with like a gang vocal or a choir. And me and Sean just recorded like a video of us singing the part on like acoustic, told them the lyrics. We actually used lyrics from it's a lyric from Crows, from like our first, like the song that essentially like started things for us. And we like gave him this thing and then basically told him that if you like put headphones in, learn this part, there's two different vocals in different ranges. So one if you've got like a high voice, one if you've got like a low voice, whichever one's more comfortable for you, and just listen to it from one phone and record it on like another phone. And then send it in here and we'll like grid it all up and line them up. We got like 250 people sent in vocals and we like stacked them up. And in that kind of thing, when you're doing gang vocals, like it's the imperfection that makes the part work. Like when the sound of an audience singing at a show isn't 1,000 people singing perfectly in key and cutting off at exactly the right point and being like that. It's not that, it's people just singing because it feels good, and all those imperfections creates that what a football match sounds like. Do you know what I mean? That like beautiful, it's in tune but it's blurry, and it's like and it just became that like really quickly. And yeah, there's like 250 Sleep Society members singing on that tune.
Man, it's so amazing. And speaking of other guests, we've got to mention the collabs that are on this record, because there's collabs and then there's collabs, and this is the latter. I mean, there's some great names on here. I mean, obvious, the new single that's just come out, Simon Neil from Biffy's on there, which is fantastic. How long have you guys, I mean, do you know Simon particularly well before this? You must have crossed paths a fair few times over the years, I'm sure.
I'll let Loz have this one.
Okay, there's a story then. Go on.
Well, we were on tour a few years back, and I think it was with Bullet for My Valentine, but their lighting guy was actually, he'd also worked with Biffy a lot in the past, or was Biffy's lighting guy and was doing both bands. I don't know. But yeah, I think we just had a few beers with him one night and just chilled out and were speaking about things. And he kind of just said, oh, you do realize that the guys in Biffy are big fans of your band? Like they've listened to you from your first sort of release. Obviously at the time, any sort of reassurance or anything like that you're like doing the right thing in terms of other people in the industry sort of appreciating what you're doing at such a young age of the band was amazing for us to hear. And we're big Biffy fans anyway. The guy, like Simon's voice is amazing. The band have done great things in terms of like UK rock and like hugely successful, so it was great to hear. And so kind of knowing that and having this idea of like who we might get on the record, and then nervous getting more and more like the demo side of things, it was getting stronger and stronger. And I guess we just kind of jumped to thinking like, how amazing would it be to get Simon on this track? For us as a band, it's like, in terms of like the metal hardcore or whatever side of things, in terms of like the anthemic rock side of things, this is definitely the anthemic rock song on the record, so we just felt like Simon's voice would really lend itself to the song. So I think Matt just reached out to him and kind of said, look, is it true? Do you like our band or whatever? Yeah. And he kind of came back and confirmed that like, yeah, like I've been listening to your band for a while, love what you guys do. And then the conversation just rolled from there. And then Matt had some like really good chats with Simon. He was like crazy positive and really into the idea of the song and everything that went with it in terms of like, the message. And yeah, it kind of just went from there.
Yeah, that link came from Elliot, Loz's brother, who's like TM does for years, and like TM Frank and the Rattlesnakes, and like he's been in and around our world almost as long as we have. And he toured with Biffy with Frank, and said like, oh, Simon's like a really, really nice dude. I could like. And he was like, I've got the contact for their TM. And then he was like, I'll do you an intro. And he did me this amazing intro, sort of saying like, I know you guys will get along. I know Simon's a fan, blah, blah. And then I didn't hear back after this for like a while. And when you're trying to get guest vocalists, you sort of you reach out to quite a few people, and like we brainstorm and come up with a list. And I mean, like traditionally, you expect to know of most people, because I know how busy being in a band is and working on your own records, and especially when you like when touring was happening, like who's got time, who's free to do vocals, and maybe they're doing something else, and can they like put their name on that song? It's quite complicated. So I'd kind of given up hope on this thing, and then this email came back one day, and it was just the absolute polar opposite of giving up hope. It was just this amazing reaction, and Simon just off the bat was just this ball of amazing positive energy. His manner or just vibe really was just incredible, and like he was so complimentary towards the band, and he was so he made it like he was like lucky to be on it, and we're like no, like we're lucky that you're willing to do this. And the whole process with him has been like that, and it's just been, I couldn't imagine working with someone like to be any better. It's been a really, really nice experience working with him in the video as well. Just a really like great, and this goes for Biffy as well. Like, what a real band. Do you know what I mean? What a proper, like a legit, the sort of bands that we aspire towards are those bands who do them, and they it's their vibe. It's not about following a trend. It's about sticking it out, and it's not about the phase of music that we're in. It's just like, we're doing us, and we're going to keep doing us, and we'll slowly climb up that ladder and it's all about this for me. I don't want to be an overnight success. I want to do this the rest of my life. And they're the bands that we follow. That's Thrice, and that's Alexis on Fire, and they're those bands that we aspire to be. And Biffy, they are that. They're Foo Fighters of the United Kingdom. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and
I back that. I fully back that.
And so like, if it's one of those ones where it feels really right, because I think we're both in similar bands, or like similar bands with that kind of mindset. Or I'd like to think that that's what Sleeps feels like to me. And it really worked out really well. And I don't know if we posted it on main socials, but we have on film me receiving the first email.
Oh, brilliant!
And I'm just playing guitar in the studio, because we've got Barnes is our video guy, and he films everything. And I'm just playing guitar in the studio, and my phone just vibrates. And I look down at it, and I just go, oh, Simon, and like run outside. Sean's being filmed by someone else in the main space in the warehouse, and you can hear me shout in the studio, and then run out to him, and we like read the email together. And it's just, I think he said, I've been a big fan of what you do, and everything about While She Sleeps and the way you guys operate is something that I want to be involved with. And I was just like, hearing that from someone, for me, is just like a real, like, it's a really heartwarming thing when someone else says they admire the way that you do things, like from someone in such a position. You know what I mean? The fucking headlining Download, we watched him headline Sonisphere in like 2012 or 11, like, and we're dancing around in the back of the crowd with our camping chairs above our heads. And if you could have fucking grabbed me then and say, he wants to sing on your album and he wants to do it, like, I had that like flash, and it's just, yeah, it's crazy how things turn out like that.
It's amazing, man. What a good bloke he is. I do have a lot of time for Simon, I always do. And the other guest I want to mention, of course, Deryck Whibley's on the album as well, which is so I mean, this guest list is great, guys. I love that. Fans, and then two absolute legends there as well. Talk to me a little bit about how that one happened, man.
Deza came through. I don't know if he wants to be called Deza. We've been calling him Deza.
I was about to say, is that his nickname? Is that his nickname? Do Canadians go by Deza occasionally? I don't know. That feels distinctly British to me, distinctly Northern British, in fact.
He's like, who the fuck is Deza?
Deza.
He came through James, our current front of house engineer and tour manager, who he works for us in the society now, total legend member of our team. He had done a tour, I think with Sum 41, or he knew their manager and did the same thing. And Deryck responded back really positively, again, being like, I'm a fan. And we had that total like wow moment of that, because especially for like Sean, Sum 41 like were his, like they were probably his Rancid at that age in our like youth. He was out making like jackass videos and putting Sum 41 songs over it. Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I feel like for everyone in the band at some point of time, like Sum 41's been that band. I remember skateboarding down to my local record store and picking up All Killer No Filler completely by accident. Just picked it up off the shelf because I thought it looked cool. And then when I got it home, like me and my brother just bouncing around bedroom and just being like a couple of years later, like what a huge record that was, like in terms of punk rock anyway. But like, yeah, so like we all love Sum 41, so it's amazing to get, you know, a response like that towards the record.
There's something in Sum 41 as well that's a real, because they've been one of those bands to us who we've like, Sleeps has a huge punk influence, whether you see it on the surface or not. It's very much in there in the songs, and like I actually don't think we're a very dissimilar band from Sum 41 in a lot of ways. They have that thrash influence, and and that California punk rock influence. So it's Canadian, but like the influence is quite Californian. And I almost felt like when it turned out Deryck liked us anyway, which is mad, but I think he listened to it and were like, this sounds like if my band like dabbled in metal more. And I think he was like, I can slot into this quite naturally, which he did when we got into the parts of actually sending each other music and he started singing, like, yeah, it just slot. It didn't feel like we had to sort of bend the way we were making our music to fit him in at all. It felt really natural.
I think for both collaborations, in terms of like Nervous and No Defeat for the Brave, they both, the way that we've worked it into the songs, they both feel like they've got their place in the song, but it still sounds like a Sleep song with those people inside it. They don't know it. I don't know what I mean, but it kind of fits really well, you know, even down to the verses, that like the verses were written by us, and Deryck has sung those verses that were written, but like it still sounds like it was a Sum 41 influenced verse, you know. Yeah. So it works so well.
We didn't write it with Deryck in mind, did we?
No, that's what I mean. It just came about and we were like, get him on that track, because it already kind of sounds a bit like it has that chuggy punk rock influence in those verses. And when it came back and he'd had a crack at it, we were just like, what? That's mental how like well it's slotted in. So yeah, we're in love with both those guys for getting involved, and they've both been amazing to work with, and yeah, it's just been so good.
And we kind of wanted to like rethink the way, like traditionally in our sort of world of music, a guest vocalist sort of appears for like a small moment in time and has their moment and then disappears. And we wanted to try and approach that in a different way, and it'd be more of a collaborative thing than be like a guest appearance. So like, that's why it's like, it's a featuring, like whilst it's featuring them on the song, is because we just basically sent both of them the full song with our vocals on and said, sing it all and work out what you feel most connected to out of all the parts. What suits your voice? What do you think you can add your flair to? And then we just got to sort of choose where they appear. And then once they appear, they actually like, they're a member of the band from there on in the song, which felt like a nicer way to collaborate than like, here's 4 lines, do your bit, and then disappear. And it, like, that's one of my favorite things about it, because I get to listen to what is almost like a new band for us in those songs. It's us with like this like extra member or this new voice to add. I mean, we've already got a lot of voices, haven't we? But let's get another one in there.
I think as well, like it's so easy to choose like another metalcore singer to get involved, and it was like it makes it so much more interesting that they're not really from our world as such, but they kind of are as well, you know. And I think it's just more interesting having like another screamer on the track. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's from different genres kind of thing. But
it's also worth noting and kind of funny that that us and Architects both didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, that's amazing.
We had no idea. Simon's a naughty boy for that.
Yeah. So Architects announced their track listing, and I just text Dan from Architects and said, "You got Simon on your record?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "So have we." And we were like, "Shit." And they were like, "Do you care?" I was like, "No, we don't care." Like, all right, then, like, let's just.
Whatever.
Very different tracks. Obviously a similar world, but very different tracks. Both work really well. It's nice.
It's a real conversation for so many people now, and like I actually quite like how it's gone because Simon is like in conversation in the heavy world right now, and people are using both the features as a discussion, and it's like I'm actually like I really like that it's happened now, and it feels really cool because people are having this, especially in America, where I don't think they have as much of a Biffy presence as we have here. The people like, who the fuck is this Simon guy? And he's on all these like these new tunes. Like, I think it's kind of funny, like watching people. People come up with the story because people and like neither band knew that he'd done both, so we. Yeah,
I do love that. No, when we did one of these with him around the album, it's just funny. He was saying how he was found himself doing a lot more screaming after Balance Not Symmetry and on this new record and everything, and then it continues. He's exploring his heavy side at the minute. It's very, very cool. Like to see it, man. Very, very cool. Right. We'll go more in depth on the album in a sec when we do the track by track, which people will be able to watch very, very soon. But I'll leave you for now with this, which is the live element, guys. You know, live shows are up in the air. We know that. We know that nobody knows quite what's going to happen. We're all hopeful about when these are going to happen. I know there's some dates in the diary, a kind of smaller tour there. You guys must be thinking about how this record's going to play live, what you guys want to do with the shows, what stage you are kind of at in terms of even just ideas around what that next tour will be.
We have so many, because when we thought this was going to last 3 months, we moved things there. Then it lasted 6 months, and we moved it again, and we've been doing that since it all started. So, I mean, you guys know now. I'm talking in the future because this has come out. The tour has moved to September, and the tour that we had booked for May, which is a load of incredibly intimate venues, the most intimate we've done in years, which will be a really fun way to start the record. We thought, how fun would it be to go to a city, to a venue that we used to play and loved playing, and just make camp there for multiple nights? Like, how fun would that be? So that's kind of what that tour's about, and it's going to be mental. That's happening in September, and then we're just fingers crossed that goes ahead, and that's around Slam Dunk, and then we have a load of plans for like the back end and the year following, but just it's all fingers crossed that it happens. Nothing that I can talk about, but like lots of interesting plans. And as well, we have, before any of that stuff gets to, we're doing the live stream, which is like an evening with While She Sleeps in May, which is going to be incredibly special. That is drinking every bit of energy we have at the moment to make something really special to kind of celebrate the album coming out and hopefully give everyone a little dose of what's to come when we get back in a room together.
Very exciting. Something to look forward to in the meantime, for sure, before you guys get out in front of it. Well, I'll leave you with that then, guys. Stay safe out there. Look forward to seeing you on the road when you can. Keep an eye out, everybody, for this track by track. You'll be able to check out very, very soon by the time this goes out. And just best of luck with the record as ever, boys. All right, we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.